A quick recap on what was in part 1 of my wife's new Mercedes Benz C200. After watching online auctions for months on end, I took the plunge and bid on a car that no one else bid on. It wasn't until the next day that the auctioneer called to say that the car didn't meet its reserve price and would I pay more, and I said no. A little while later, I had an email saying that I had won the bid. So Callum and I went and picked up the C200 from the auction and we got it home and off the trailer. Then a quick inspection clearly showed a kangaroo was the reason the C200 ended up at the auction. Then we checked out how many Ks the Merc had done and had a good look over the rest of the car. Then it was time to start giving it a quick clean with vacuuming the carpets and giving it a quick wash on the outside. Well, from last week's video, I took out the floor mats, and this is the passenger floor mat where the Mercedes Benz metal plate was lifted up, and then when I tried to look at it, the rest of it came apart. And I said I would fix it, and here it is, me fixing it. Now, lucky for me, I just happen to have a couple of studs that happen to be the right size for the pins on the Mercedes Benz logo. I mean, what are the chances, seriously? And just like that, bingo, fixed. It is Saturday afternoon. It has been raining pretty much all day. It's the first opportunity I've had to get outside. I really just want to be able to get this fender off and look at this frame. So that's what we're going to do now. And to do that, well, obviously the bonnet's got to come up so we get access to the fender bolts, of which there are 3 across the top. These are 10mm bolts. There is one behind the door you're going to see in a second, and there are 2 nuts, 10mm nuts, at the very bottom, but we've got to remove the plastic trim first, and that is going to take a bit of time. See that? That's fine. Now, I wanted to check out if the whole car was aluminium, because I actually didn't know. I knew that the fender and the bonnet were, but I was very happy and surprised to find that all the panels were steel. But what about the frame? Oh, what's this here? This is the big thing, I can see it. Oh, it's steel. Ah, thank God. That is a relief. Okay, I've just used a magnet to go and test what is aluminium and what's not. And luckily for me, steel frame is steel, it's not aluminium, so that is going to make things a lot easier. I knew that the fender and I knew that the bonnet were definitely aluminium, which they are. I thought like the boot might have been as well, but the boot's steel, the rest of the car's steel, so it's good news. Now I want to remove the headlight bracket just quickly. This is held on by 10mm bolts also. You may be wondering, why am I doing this out here and not in the workshop, the shed? Because of this. We have got water everywhere over our block. You can hear it, right? And just look at this mud pit. How am I supposed to drive a car through that? So now that you've seen Lake Mundajong down the back, that's why I can't. If I try and drive this down there, it's just going to get bogged and just make a complete mess of it. So I've got to do what I can up here for now, and hopefully in like 6 weeks time, roughly-ish, halfway through spring, we can get in there. Anyway, let's continue on with removing this headlight bracket. This is part of the bonnet release, of which there's 2. Simply 2 10mm bolts hold it in place. There's nothing but 10mm bolts all over it, which just makes it super easy to take off. Still makes life a lot easier, that's for sure. It hangs onto that there. Oops, it's part of my good grill. Oh, I can get in there now. Look, that worked out well. What was on that? Oh, that was the head part of the headlight. There is just parts of the headlight all throughout the engine bay. It is amazing how many pieces this thing broke into and where they've landed.
Inside of the headlight. Oh, that's good. So that's a good thing to note. It comes here. The wiring's on the outside.
That wire is literally so that if the bonnet's never shut properly, it'll indicate on the inside of the car.
And it keeps it dry. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, it's broken off there. It's a shame. I wonder if I can. That's just a blue clip. Oh, that'll be on the new bumper. Should be okay then. Anyway.
That is the main wiring harness, which the main plug joins the main wiring on the actual bumper. This here is the daytime running lights, right down at the bottom of the bumper. And when I first picked up the car, when I looked at the photos, in fact, before I picked up the car, I thought it was actually gone, but it wasn't. It was just, well, right set back inside. It was actually just come out of itself. It's actually clips together in quite a few places, and it had unclipped, so I could easily push it back together. It's time to get the wheels off so that I can actually get the fender off. I need the wheels off so that I can get the wheel arch lining out. The wheel arch lining is in two pieces. There's a front half and a back half, and I need to get, well, the front half is completely pretty much broken and destroyed. There's a few bits left, but I need to get the back half of it out to be able to get access to help me get the bottom two nuts that hold the fender in. This here is part of the airflow system, or the intake system for the inside of the car. I needed to find where the battery was. I didn't even know where it was. And as you can see here, there's supposed to be some extra clips. That one right there is supposed to look like this one here. There's a plastic post with a screw and a clip off of it. But as you can see, it's snapped off and gone. And the one right in the middle is supposed to have just a little hook at the front for a clip to clip onto it. So that's something else I'm going to have to attempt to fix. Anyway, I'm disconnecting the battery because I don't want to set off any of the airbags inside the car, because there's an airbag sensor on the front of the crash bar, which you'll see a little later. These here that you're looking at are small clips which holds the plastic sill on, which literally sits under the doors. And this is obviously the driver's side. I saw a Mercedes Benz video online explaining how to get access. It said to take these three clips out first, and then you could literally pull this plastic sill off, which would then expose the two 10mm nuts which are at the bottom of the fender. Now, of course, in the Mercedes Benz video, they did it on a brand new car, so all the clips were easily on and off. This has been together for 12 years. The clips aren't that easy. Anyway, there's a lot of work goes involved just to get the arch lining out. Again, there's some 10mm plastic nuts which hold the fender lining in. So I took all those out. And then there's separate plastic rivets as such. Very common in cars today. But of course, when they've never been released before, they just did not want to come out at all. This is the front half of the wheel arch lining. As you can see, it's wrecked. So got to get a replacement for that. But the back half is in good condition, no problem there. Unfortunately, the wind is just going to be a problem throughout the video, and I apologise. I'll certainly try and make it better next time. That there was a tiny piece of the headlight. That there little clip, we'll find out where that goes later. I'm trying to be very, very careful here not to wreck this plastic sill, but I couldn't get it to budge. And then I realised that the jack stand was actually partially on it, so I couldn't move it anyway. So hence I had to rejack it, relocate the jack stand, and then try and free it up. And as you can see, I did. Next time, I'll put some WD-40 in first, and that should make a big difference. Off come the two 10mm nuts, and now the fender is, well, it's not free yet. That one 10mm bolt, that was where the door is, well, it just didn't want to let go. So I'll have to get some help. So I've called Porsche over to help us try and push on that, while at the same time I was trying to undo it from the other side. But it still didn't want to let go. But eventually it did. As you can see here, the frame has no kinks or bends in it whatsoever across the top, along the side, or underneath. It is in spot on condition, no problems at all. Just at the very front is where it's bent over, and the only reason it bent over there is because where the sheet metal overlaps itself and creates a box section, it didn't there. As you can see there, it's two bits of flat steel together, which then form the end of the frame. And the only reason it bent is because it's flat steel and wasn't box section. An easy fix, as you'll see. I'm crouching down behind the other side of the Merc simply because the wind's blowing this way and I'm just trying to get out of the wind. But I just showed you this clip a little while back, and I've literally just found where it was. I thought it might have been part of the headlight, but it's not. It's off the fuse box. Have a look at this. Try and work this out. This is where I found it, down at the bottom where the fender was. But it came from here. Like that one, it's missing off that one. So, I just put it back on. How did I get from there down the bottom? How cool is that? Another little bit fixed. Now that we've got the fender off, I want to get the bumper off. To get the bumper off, I got to get the grille off. To get the grille off, I've got to take the top radiator plastic off, and under that is the steel plate across that. Well, so I thought. But first of all, there's some things that got to be removed to get the cover plate off. And first of all is that air pipe. And then going over and trying to work out exactly how this top cover plate comes off. But I worked it out. I was slightly worried that this might have had a bend in it, but it didn't. Absolutely, other than being dirty, is in great shape. No bends, no kinks anywhere. Now to remove the grill, I've got to take out this one 10mm bolt which holds the flap that goes from the steel frame to the grill. Now that that's out of the way, put the bolt back in place so I know where it is, and then simply lift the grill out. The bottom part of it had already unclipped itself from the bumper, so I didn't need to worry about doing that. Like I said, there's parts of the grill and the headlight all over the place. There's a 10mm bolt next to each light, and then weirdly, there's a little clip that's part of the rubber seal that goes around the headlight that joins the bumper. Onto the passenger side, take out the plastic nuts, 10mm ones, so I can get this arch lining out. I've got to get the arch lining out so I can then get to the 10mm bolts that are at the bottom, right here, which hold the bottom of the bumper on.
Where did that go?
And then this happened.
Whoa!
Yeah, pretty much most of the bumper had come off, but I still just needed to take out the same 10mm bolt off the driver's side, which is what I was doing now.
I've got the bumper off. It is down there on the ground. Let's take a quick look at the front of the Merc. I've already had a quick look, but it is in good condition. There is no damage whatsoever to the front, except a tiny bing on the crash bar. Right along the front here, everything is good. Oil cooler, radiator, everything is in good condition. There's no bend to the top radiator plate at all. The only thing that's got a small bend in it is the crash bar here, and you might be able to see it, but there's a slight indentation there when you look over the top. You can tell it's slightly in compared to the other side, which is just a very smooth, rounded spot. I mean, this should be flat here, as you can see, and the other side is in. So plan is to try and straighten this up. I've got to heat it up because it's aluminium. I'm going to bring the van over, put a ratchet strap on. I'm going to remove these, obviously, because they can't be in the way. That's why I disconnected the battery, because this here, I'm pretty sure, because it's got a yellow connection, means it is an airbag sensor. So that's very, very lucky that it didn't go off. So bring the van over, heat this up, and let's see if we can just pull it out. But I'll probably actually have to put the wheels back on to do it.
So using a 10mm spanner, I took out the two bolts which hold on the horn and the airbag sensor.
Okay, so let me explain what I've done now. I've got the van just here, and what I've done is I've already got a replacement. I went and picked up last week a bonnet, a fender, and a bumper, all off the same car, and the headlight bracket. I was going to get an aftermarket one, but I thought, play it safe, get the OEM one, get the Mercedes Benz one, because I can use that and know and trust that when I put it in, as I have, just finger tight, then that's going to be a really good guide on where things should be placed. So if you see here, this is how much I need to bring this out. It looks like a lot, but by the time we just heat this up and give it its correct curve that it was on originally, you can see there that it actually will be correct. So I can even tell from the bolt holes that they're going to line up correctly as well. So good news, because all of these, as you can see, I can move them around. So all of this tells me straight away that everything, these 3 points are all good. This is the only one we just need to move out, line up, and obviously straighten this one as well around so the second one can go. But you can already tell that once that's curved up, that screw hole is going to line up to where it needs to bolt to.
Please like, please subscribe, share the videos. I really would appreciate any help you can give me. So I thought I would get this frame done first. This is the bonnet height adjustment screw. There's one lock nut at the bottom of it, again 10mm, and off it came. Now, even though steel can be operated cold, I wanted to heat it up just to give it a little more flexibility, less chance of actually breaking it, because it is cold. and that is a laser pointing temperature gauge. Nice, cheapy, but works well off AliExpress. First time I've used it, threw in a couple of AAA batteries and away we go. Point and shoot, baby. Now I've got my trusty sidekick out here, the supervisor telling me how things should be. It's just great having him there to watch and learn. Now remember, I'm not a panel beater, but I do know how to fix things, and I like to give things a go. And this is just a prime example. Now I've watched stacks of videos of these guys who do crash damaged car repairs. And so I've got great tips over the time of watching these videos. And this is just part of it. But when you actually do it yourself, of course it's a little different. But I really am having a good time. This is a cheap hammer and dolly set I got off eBay. Again, this is the first time I've even used it. But after watching videos online, I've got some idea of what I'm doing. I'm not going in completely blind. And as you can see, it's already starting to take shape into the way that it's supposed to look like. Now to get it up just further in place, it's always a good idea to use the proper screws, the ones that came there with it, tightening on the steel and using that screw hole to get things in place. So that's exactly what I've done. And again, I've seen this stuff done online. So I know that's how the professionals do it. So I need to go down to the shed, workshop, and put a hole in it. So I was just going to drill it, go down there, come back, just as you can see now. So I didn't have to run this steel angle across it on an angle, but now I can put it in there straight and have a better attempt at just lifting it up. Looking much better already. There's just a small dimple in there that I'll have to attack on the next episode to make it just that bit better. I want to try and get it absolutely as best as I can. Now it's time to get on to the aluminium crash bar. This part is not structural. It's literally an end point for the headlight bracket to connect to, just to give it some rigidity. Now, like I said, I'm doing everything outside, so I'm battling the outside cold, the wind, while trying to heat this up. Now, heating up aluminium takes time, so hence I've got to keep moving the torch and showing Callum how to do it as well. Keep moving the torch around the front, over to the back, onto the top and underneath, and keep heating up the point all around where we need to move it. In that time I was then getting the ratchet strap hooked up to the van and then started pulling on it. And that way I could then pull it back out to shape. Now the best way to see how far I need to do it is by putting the headlight bracket back in place, finger tight, and that would then give me a guide as to how close I was then getting. So that's exactly what we did.
It's supposed to be inside of it.
Oh. I think we got it.
Now with pretty much most metals, you need to overbend them a little bit because they're always going to spring back a fraction. So that's what I was concentrating on then. Just a Final few more taps just to make sure it was in place, and it was.
Huge headlight.
Now, how am I going to check that I actually do genuinely have it in the right place, other than just using the headlight bracket as a guide? Well, first of all, I needed to straighten out the actual end, get all the bent bits nice and straight, and they came out pretty easily too. Having the correct tools for the job just makes things easier. Using these proper panel bending hammers is great. To check that I had the aluminium crash bar in the right place, I used a tape measure, of which I then used the natural cut angle that was on the end of the crash bar. As you can see, the tape measure is following that angle until the end of the tape measure hits the frame. And then I've got an inside and an outside measurement of the driver's side, as you can see right now. And then on the other side, it's the exact same. So I know I've got it in the right place. Good result.
This came out really well. There's a slight indentation, but I can't get something in there to obviously knock it out. It's just too confined. But the curve looks correct. This lined up really nicely. This only pulled in like a couple of mil into it. All the holes line up. We've just finger tightened the bolts to put the headlight bracket in place. And as you can see, I mean, that's pretty much dead center as it is. So that came out really nicely, working with heating it up and then using a ratchet strap. I'm fairly happy with the work that's been done up here, but I still want to be able to lift it up a bit more. There's a spot that's dipped down in here, just this side of the bolt. That's going to require cleaning it off, putting a bolt on there, welding it, and then creating some kind of a jig to pull it up, because obviously I don't have a frame machine and all that to do that. But the gaps all match the same as they do the other side. So like I said, there were no creases along the cross member on the front here of the frame, so that's really good. It was literally only bent where it was a single skin, where the two skins came together. So it's a good result. In the end, there's no damage to the front. This is sitting in, so pretty cool. I just got to wait for a stack of parts to arrive. A lot of them internal, a lot of external, like the grille and the star emblem. There's a few other bits and pieces, especially the expansion tank. That's the big one. There is coolant actually sitting in the very, very bottom where the coolant is below where the actual crack is. So the fact is it hasn't dried out at all, and it is actually coolant, because I can see that it's green stuff. So good result in the end. Using this OEM frame, headlight frame, was the very, very smart decision. If I'd had an aftermarket one, I wouldn't have been 100% sure that it's correct. But this will still come off. We'll give it up a really good clean. Like I said, we'll still do some more work here. And once the parts arrive, then we'll degrease the motor, get it all cleaned too while this is all off, and then it's time to start getting it back together and start looking at painting. That is the end of this episode on the Mercedes Benz C200. My sidekick came out and gave me a hand. Please subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Leave a comment, let me know. Hit the like button, tell your friends and your family, and I'll see you on the next one.